Hello, bienvenue. Welcome back. I don't know about you, but here we're having a historic heat wave. Seriously, Vancouver is never this hot.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yep, that's right. We're talking about it. One of the best animated TV shows out there, Avatar: The Last Airbender. But seriously, I'm not kidding when I'm talking about this heat wave. Our infrastructure is just not built for it. It's strange. I wasn't even aware that Avatar: The Last Airbender had made a recent resurgence. I mean, I didn't have Netflix last summer when everybody else seemed to have fallen in love with it again, but here we are. To be fair, it's never actually slipped out of the ranks of popularity, but its return to Netflix is what really pushed it to the top. It's a fascinating show that draws on so much history. It's an homage, really. An homage to East Asian culture and history and Japanese animation and fantasy. It's influenced so many shows since. It's the reason that we have shows like Adventure Time or Steven Universe or Voltron Legendary Defender or even The Dragon Prince. Yeah, its target audience was mainly children, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't created with adults in mind. It has so many nuanced themes and so many more complex storylines that you just would not expect out of an animated television show. And it's so steeped in world history to create this new, exciting, and unique universe for us to discover. I could do an entire video all alone just on the histories used to create this television shows, everything from the China and Nepal conflicts to Imperial Japan and its invasion of Eastern Asia. Avatar deals with so many heavy topics, everything from war and abuse and oppression to colonization and genocide and imperialism. This is just not your typical Nickelodeon show, especially at the time when it came out. Most of the shows at the time had one simple rule, and that was to continue as long as it possibly could. That means that you didn't really have a connection with the characters. There was no development and no real plot. The simple rule of nothing can change. And then Avatar: The Last Airbender came along. From the beginning, they always had a very clear goal with an overarching narrative. But we've had groundbreaking shows before. If you want, check out my Batman the Animated Series and why that's my favorite Batman adaptation ever. Avatar was both episodic and serialized. It was a lot of traveling, which is what happens when you're trying to save the world, but they'd find trouble and then they'd drop in to help. But there are still points of information that you collect along the way. There's character development, they grow. Sokka goes from being a comedic sidekick to an integral part of the team and a strategist. And Zuko goes from becoming the pesky nemesis to a valued ally and friend. Each episode is a piece of a bigger picture. One that allows the characters and the story to continue to grow, to gain trauma, to mature. That's exactly what drew me to Avatar: The Last Airbender in the first place. I liked that connection. I liked that depth of world. I liked that development of characters. I liked that I could really sink into the story and lose myself. But most animated shows don't do that, and definitely didn't do that at the time. The pacing of the show is a little up in the air. I mean, it does move along at a pretty good clip. Believe me, you're never bored. Powers are developed over time and are earned. Villains are complex. It's never black or white. And redemption is something that is hard-earned. But you do have periods that lag. It's the last season that really seemed to want to drag out the story. And why? It's something that's bothered me for a long time. Every element gets their own season. You have water and earth and fire, but no wind. With all its East Asian influence, it actually didn't take advantage of one of the most unique aspects of storytelling that it could have. It follows the very traditional beginning, middle, and end, the Western 5-act structure. What they missed is the chance to model the story after Kisho Tenketsu, the 4-act structure: introduction, development, twist, and conclusion. It's a very interesting form of storytelling. It's one that doesn't have conflict inherently built into the plot like Western storytelling does. And if you're interested in this form of storytelling, let me know and maybe I can do a video on it, as it's one I often employ in my own work. And if you're a fan of Japanese anime and storytelling, then it's probably one that you recognize. That's just a really long-winded way of me saying that instead of slowing down the third season, they could have made a fourth and brought it full circle. But the best part about Avatar: The Last Airbender is it wasn't about appropriation or tokenism. That implies the use of someone else's culture for personal interests, or the symbolic inclusion of a character that's rarely seen otherwise. No, this show was about genuine learning and understanding and wanting to share. It's why the show never came off as cheesy or cliche. Special attention was paid to every detail. It's about history, not stereotype. About drawing on real-world histories and people and cultures. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a piece of television history, one that's going to live for generations, and continue to inspire future creators. I mean, it sure as hell inspired me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And if you'd like to hear me talk about the histories and cultures behind Avatar: The Last Airbender, let me know. You can find me on Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon.
My first girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.